Resident Evil 4 is back, and it is better than ever. If you haven't been watching me on Twitch since the release, then you probably haven't heard the immense praise I've been giving this game. I'm usually pretty skeptical of remakes, but they really nailed this one, and blew my expectations away. It's no surprise that everyone and their mother are playing it, and the amount of content we've all been getting out of it is amazing to see. For most players, this content is in the form of replayability, the modding community, and challenges. And boy, are there plenty of challenges to conquer. The S+ rankings that were introduced in RE2 Remake have returned, and the speedrunning community is booming in activity. A bunch of the in-game challenges make for fun New Game Plus runs, and some of them are even direct nods to the infamous challenge runs from the original Resident Evil 4, such as No Merchant and Pistol and Knife Only. Now, Knife Only is a staple in the Resident Evil series, seeing as a ton of the games can be completed this way. The original Resident Evil 4 is not one of those games, and requires the handgun for many things, hence why the challenge is the way it is in the remake. But what if you only use the knife on enemies, and use the handgun for all non-enemy progression? Well, I did that on my 5th playthrough on standard difficulty just to test the waters. It was very doable, despite having a bit of trouble in some areas. After all those hours, I simply wanted to mix it up for stream content, and maybe do something special. The thing that came to mind? Returning to Knife Only to see what else is possible. But not just any Knife Only run. I decided to take on the endeavor of being the first person in the world to beat a Resident Evil 4 remake, Knife Only, with no unlocks, no accessories, no primal knife, on professional difficulty. Allow me to show you this masochistic journey and explain how everything worked. Let's go over some basic rules before I begin. As I mentioned, this game is impossible to beat without shooting a gun, just like the original Resident Evil 4. These are the areas you need to shoot a pistol at enemies or progression-based puzzles. Keeping Ashley safe in Waterhall, shooting the weights to open gates and lower bridges, the minecart thrill rides, the armored Gigante with Lewis in Chapter 11, keeping Ashley safe from enemies in the waste disposal area, Krauser's traps, taking out the anti-air gun for Mike, and finally shooting the special rocket to kill second phase Sadler. Getting all of these out of the way early so nobody goes all crazy in the comments over me using the handgun and such. Additionally, I'm not allowed to upgrade the handgun at all, but I am allowed to use melee, and shooting blue medallions and treasures is fair game, as they aren't enemies. Now then, let's get into it. We begin at the village, just like any other run, except this time all we have is the combat knife, with the starting stats of 0.6 attack power, 1.0 durability, and 1.2 attack speed. Yeah, this thing is definitely not going to get anything done early game. Therefore, I'm going to get to the village siege and manically run around for 5 minutes praying that I don't get wombo comboed. I admittedly had a very clean start, until I woke this man from his closet slumber. He was able to grab me twice, which costed me a green herb and a brown chicken egg that was luckily lean for me. In the farm, I simply broke the medallions, looted the treasures, and got out of there real quick. The next area is easy, as it's simply running to Lewis's house without stepping into bear traps, and that's the first chapter complete. Easy peasy stuff. Chapter 2 is an infamous meme in the speedrunning scene, being given such names as Dynamite Valley, Red Mist Valley, Tomato Paste Valley. Yeah, you get the point. One of these sticks of dynamites obliterates you. With that said, this place can get real messed up real fast, and it's in my best interest to use the knife if I do get grabbed. Therefore, I sold some treasures, weapons, and ammo, and made my first upgrades to the knife's durability, all the way up to 1.8. This is simply a precaution on repair money, just in case this area goes poorly, which it did. Fortunately, the knife took very minimal damage, no front grabs, and Leon cushioned the blows quite well. From here, the rest of the chapter is a simple bit of avoiding more enemies, looting treasure, and the marble puzzle. Very simple stuff, and we're moving on to Chapter 3, which includes the return to the village, the church, the quarry, the fish farm, and Del Lago. With my speedrun experience, getting to the lake is a very easy and quick process, with minimal looting along the way. However, Fish Farm is an area I don't want to spend much time in with all of the enemies present, so I will return to it in Chapter 4 because I really do need to loot that place. you know, in peace. Therefore, I zoom through it all and get to Del Lago. Now, I didn't mention this as one of the non-knife required fights in the game earlier, because, like, it's pretty obvious. But also, isn't a harpoon just, you know, a big weird looking knife? Food for thought. Anyways, Del Lago is pretty easy, and just like that, we're halfway through the village. Pretty smooth so far, yeah? Chapter 4 is looting. 80% of this chapter is just going full loot goblin mode. Unfortunately, there are some areas around the lake I can't fully loot due to the risk of wasting healing items on enemies that I can only run from. Despite that, I was able to loot the antique pipe, red gemstone ring, deprived idol, rhinoceros beetle, splendid bangle, 2 alexandrites, the butterfly lamp, red 9, gold egg, lunker bass, and I bought the elegant mask from the spinal store. I inlaid the elegant mask and the butterfly lamp with the ruby sapphire yellow diamond combo, and this was all enough to get me the fully upgraded combat knife, which is absolutely needed at this point of the game. Fighting El Gigante without fully upgrading is just asking for a bad time. Which, without further ado, here is the first successful boss fight using the knife.
Whoa. God damn
You fucking asshole. What are you doing? Thank you.
You got worms too?
There we go. Okay, he turned. Turned again. I'm looking for a very specific set of attacks that you've probably already seen, but he's just not doing them sometimes. What is that fucking hitbox? Hello? Fuck off, game. Jeez, dude. Oh, it's such bad RNG. This fight started out so good, and then it just went to absolute fucking dog shit. There we go. Keep doing that. Yeah, keep doing that. Yeah! No! No! The other one. Oh, fuck. Are you kidding me, dude? Fuck yeah.
God damn.
God, it took so many of my heals, but we did it. The strategy is to stay slightly behind his leg to make him do the 180 stomp, which allows you to keep him in a loop where you stab his legs over and over again. It is quite effective, despite how long it takes. There's also a possibility that he won't do the 180 stomp, and he'll just give you a hard time. If you do get grabbed by a Gigante, do not use the knife to get out of it. You're going to have to mash, otherwise your knife durability is going to take a huge hit, and you might not even be able to finish the fight. With El Gigante down, we move on to meet Ashley at the church, and approach one of the hardest parts of knife only in general, the cabin. Getting to the cabin is easy. I mean, there's no looting, no fighting, you just run over there. But getting out of the cabin? That is not so easy. I spent hours trying to figure out the best ways of approaching this. The first set of enemies to kill, which windows to board first, which enemy types to focus after the first window is boarded, when I should switch from fighting downstairs or upstairs, how to handle Plagas effectively without sacrificing durability, what attacks to parry. I mean, there's just so many things to think about and so much to keep track of in a small amount of time and not nearly enough room. To make things worse, this challenge made me realize that Lewis is kinda useless when a certain amount of Garadors are inside. Past a certain amount of them, Lewis's AI starts to have a lot of trouble shooting the right Garadors, especially the ones that grab you, which leads to having to use knife durability. Knife durability is a huge issue in this run, because knifing out of grabs and performing killing blows or sneak attacks will deplete knife durability by a ton. Lewis's Red 9 doesn't even do much damage anyways. Unfortunately, he's just better off acting as bait for a few Garadors to aggro him, so I can focus on less of them at a time. With that said, you could have 3 Lewises in this cabin, and it would still be pure pain. Eventually, this is the plan I came up with. I take out the torch lads at the second window first, and then transition to the first window. Once I've killed a few more, I board up that first window and focus on the Garadors coming through the second window. Usually the second planks drop after the first or second Ganado coming through this window, but the third set of planks can be a bit more unreliable. It's kinda random when they'll drop, but fortunately in this attempt the third set of planks drop pretty quickly, and having all of those windows boarded will trigger the ladder cutscene earlier. At this point, killing Ganados is a bad idea, as they usually turn into Plagas and cause a ton of trouble. All you can really do is either kill a bullman to trigger the end, or simply run around and survive for a few minutes. Neither of these are very good options when all you have is a knife. Killing the bull would be easy if the Ganados respected the 1v1, but they never do. So I'm forced to bob and weave my way around while hoping that anyone he or Lewis kills will drop a green herb. I got very lucky, and this drop down animation gave me iframes from the bull swing, but I was still put into a knockdown animation from the Ganado. Unfortunately, he did not have iframes, so he got kinda wrecked. After that, I get shoveled, Lewis gets shoveled, I get revenge, and it finally ends. It's finally over. This took 3 freaking hours, and it's easily the hardest thing in the entire village segment of the game. Which may come as a surprise because we have yet to take on the Bella sisters or Mendez, so let's get to that. First things first though, we need to actually get to the sisters. The best way of getting through this specific room is to go for the despawn strat, which I personally found myself during my first professional playthrough. Stealth killing the first 2 Ganados in this room is needed, and afterwards, you have a bit of tight timing and luck to rely on for this strat. You hug the hut and wait for the Ganado by the bear trap to start walking to the left. At that point, you hug the right wall and hope that the enemies who aggro do not cause the big group to spawn with the bell ringing. If successful, you have a free line to the double door. Easy peasy. But I don't know how it works. I still don't know why does this work? I don't know, man. Whatever. Before getting to the Bella sisters, I kill this Plagas Ganado and save so I don't have to do that despawn again. Then I take out this couple, do some looting, and save once again so I don't have to repeat that process every death, cause yeah, deaths are going to happen. On professional, chainsaws in general are very dangerous because of the level of aggression enemies have. This means my best bet is to take the Bell Sisters all the way to the beginning of the area for a 2v1, and pick my opportunities for stabs very carefully. After killing the one with the crank, I save again, and fortunately Ashley does stay in the locker, even after leaving the area saving and coming back. She won't leave the locker until you interact with the crank on the door or ask her to leave. The only thing stopping me from opening the door is the other sister. She's just too fast, and I have no choice but to kill her and the single Ganado as well. The 1v1 is much easier to handle, but even after killing her, the Mendez chase section is a bit risky without being able to properly take out enemies along the way. Fortunately, on my second attempt, Ashley was an absolute legend and ran through everyone without taking a hit or slowing down. Now the only thing stopping me from reaching the castle is Mendez. In theory, I could skip him, but that was not the plan. I wanted to prove what was and wasn't possible to do. Therefore, we fight Mendez. At first, I was not necessarily sure how to approach the fight, and opted for the strategy from the original Resident Evil 4. Climb the ladder, wait for an attack, jump down, stab, repeat process. Unfortunately, the iframe timing is way tighter and completely unreliable. Failing that strategy leads to a lot of grabs, which will either take a lot of health or a lot of knife durability. Again, knife durability is way more important, because if that knife breaks, it's GG. This is what made me switch to fighting him on the first floor and trying to bait out certain attacks that won't hit me if I'm standing in the right spot behind him. It was very effective, but second phase doesn't really have a similar effective strategy. All I can really do is try to sweet talk Mendez into attacking me on the second floor, which might make him stick around for some fisticuffs. Other than that, it's all dodging, positioning, and patience. This didn't take nearly as long as Cabin, and wasn't as difficult, but I can definitely see it being a very hard section for a lot of people trying this out. But nothing in the village will surpass how frustrating and ridiculous this next chapter is. In fact, I think a part of my soul was being crushed trying to get past this chapter. Up first, catapults. I can't destroy them, as that would count as kills with a non-knife weapon. Yeah, it doesn't sound so good now, does it? It took me almost an hour of trial and error to get Ashley to the cannon, take out the door, and somehow get back without either of us getting catapulted to death or having Ashley taken away. I mean, the worst part is that I accidentally risked a lot of progression by saving over the wrong save file, trying to save Scum Ashley to safety. The idea is that you can save and reload the game and Ashley will no longer be in a captured state, giving her the chance to run to Leon. In this case, it was not working at all, and I had to go back for Ashley. I was very lucky here, as I surprisingly had a lot of time to get back to her before the mission failed screen. After finally getting past that section, I ran into another huge issue. A fully upgraded combat knife cannot kill a Garador with only sneak attacks. The knife will break. In theory, I could simply regularly stab his weak point to expose the Plagas and do damage, but this would be very risky and possibly deplete my healing items. That would be a huge problem in Waterhall, so my best option is to bait him to the first room that he's imprisoned in, and hope I can crank the door in time before he kills me. Now, this does work, but at the cost of getting hit at least once or twice. I mean, the catapults were awful, and not being able to kill Garador is disappointing. But neither of them compare to the anguish and despair I felt from Waterhall. Let me just quickly break down how Waterhall works. Upon entering, there are 2 crossbows already spawned in directly ahead. Once you've gone far enough into the room, they aggro, and 2 more crossbows spawn, 1 on either side in the balconies. This is also paired with 4 Granados, 2 of which are shield wielders. There's no point in stopping to fight the 4 Granados, as it will lead to me losing all of my heals, and most likely getting wrecked by crossbow shots. I can always just get the wheel, use it upstairs to drop the stairs, and then save the game. My hope was that the enemy AI would reset if I saved and waited long enough in the other room. I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. Not only does the AI not reset, but they aggro before you even get to the double doors. In many, many other rooms in the game, the AI will reset, giving the player the chance to reassess the situation. I have no idea why this is one of the few rooms in the game where the AI does not reset. I was desperately hoping it would reset if I went back to the start of the chapter, or maybe relaunched the game, but nothing works. This left me with no choice but to battle a large group of enemies, or somehow get through them without Ashley being taken away. I was here for a while, simply going insane, running through this room and hoping to get lucky. Even when I did get lucky, it wouldn't guarantee that I was going to be able to successfully complete the part where I need to keep Ashley safe. As stated at the beginning of this video, this is the first part where I'm required to use my handgun to progress. I purposefully left it unupgraded to stay in line with the spirit of the challenge, so I saved a lot of ammo for this. It was nerve-wracking, but I was able to kill all of them and conquer the absolute shitshow that was Waterhall. Thank goodness. Cabin was bad, but at least it was more dependent on skill and improv rather than dumb luck. I never want to do this again.
Okay.
Moving on to Chapter 8, where things are relatively easy in comparison. These fish are great for heals and actually respawn every chapter, so Leon will be eating a lot of them. I also opted to eat the beetle for extra health this time instead of selling it for 10k, as I was confident in the amount of pesetas I had. Red Zealots are a bit of an issue because they like to run away a lot, and even when they do accept the 1v1, their attacks have extra long hit stun from lighting Leon on fire. Best thing to do is to stab their face to get melee prompts and repeat until dead. It's not too bad, and then you simply do the lithographic stone puzzle before getting to the castle walls with metal Gigante. There are some neat skips you can do here, but one of them I cannot do with the handgun. I performed the first one and skipped doing the second, which is a pretty insignificant time save anyways. The first skip by shooting the weight through the gate is much more important. Seeing as my knife doesn't really reach far enough to attack that metal Gigante over there, I have to use the cannon and then blow open the door, thus leading to the end of the chapter. The hedge maze is a bit problematic, as trying to fight the dogs with the knife is not a very balanced fight. They're quick, they hit hard, and they also tend to run circles around you before attacking. On top of that, they use the hedges for surprise attacks, and Garadors spawn to kidnap Ashley after the flag that Ashley helps you reach. Thank God this didn't take long to achieve. I think it was my third or fourth attempt, and I got pretty lucky. After that, the Grand Hall presents me with an interesting obstacle. I can't use a grenade or a flashnade to skip the goat head room, which forces me to improvise. The real problem here is the fact that these Garadors will turn into Plagas because of the Red Zealots, and fighting the Type 2 Plagas is just asking to get Leon's head eaten. I tried just running through stuff and leaving Ashley behind, but it just wasn't working. What I ended up needing to do was using Ashley as bait to get instant knife kills on Garadors carrying her. This prevents them from turning into Plagas, and the ones that do turn into Plagas can be left alone with Ashley, as they don't pick her up. The only thing left to do afterwards is use the lever, lead her out of the room, and save the game. After saving, I can get the goat head and pray that Ashley makes it past the 3 enemies that spawn from the entrance. She did pretty well, so I get to move on to the lion head room, where I'm forced to fight 7 Armadoras. This isn't as bad as it sounds, because as long as Ashley accurately throws the lanterns to help out a bit, I should be able to kill the Plagas relatively quickly. She doesn't throw one until you take care of one of the knights, but once she does, it's a huge help. Especially on the Armadoras with the weak point in the back of the head instead of the side. After completing this room, I'm free to take care of Ashley's section with no issues and get to the next problematic chapter. Chapter 10. Screw this. Mainly because Navistadors are just a huge pain in the ass, and double Garadors, well, I already explained earlier that just one Garador can't be killed with sneak attacks. The knife durability simply can't handle it, so having two of them in the room with no way of backtracking to save? This is rough, extremely tedious, and absolutely chaotic. There's truly only 3 steps to this room. Step 1, kill the first set of Ganados with minimal or no damage if possible. Step 2, release the Garadors for the second and third wave of Ganados in order to run around the room and have the Garadors be the ones to kill the Ganados. This is just a very tedious and chaotic process, but worth doing to preserve durability and health. After they're all dead, it's a 2v1 against the Garadors, which doesn't sound as bad, but there is a big problem. As stated before, sneak attacks destroy the knife durability, and will ultimately lead to you failing. With that in mind, I need to stab the weak points to reveal the Plagas. Even bigger problem. Stabbing an enemy alerts Garadors. So stab one Garador in the weak point, and the other one comes flying in swinging those big claws. To make matters worse, it's actually kinda hard to consistently stab the weak point, as Leon's stab animation is not always hitting the same spot. After over 2 hours, I was finally able to kill them both, but god, was it tedious and annoying. It's over. Holy shit, yes, finally. Oh my god. God damn, man. Ugh. I went back to save before being dropped into the deathly sewers. Again, I could have performed the Novi skip here, but I didn't want to cheese anything I didn't need to. I simply ran through it with minimal issues, and went to pursue Salazar's right hand. As funny as it would be to knife a Verdugo as if I was shaving down a big block of ice, there's no way this fight's going to go smoothly, and I'm not even sure he would die before the knife breaks. Fortunately, I can just run around for 5 minutes to wait for the elevator, so that's exactly what I did. And with that, Chapter 10 is done, and we meet back up with Lewis. Before I get into the double El Gigante fight, I want to mention that I hit the firing range and acquired the 30% off knife repairs. At this point, I was rocking 30% off knife repair, 30% off body armor repair, and 10% green herb effectiveness. After that, it was time to get the TNT, save the game, and go fight the Gigantes. The Naked One, as Leon calls him, is the exact same fight as the first Gigante fight in the game. But there's a chance that the Gigantes will switch aggression, which is the worst case scenario while fighting the Naked One. I need him to stay aggroed on me so I can loop his 180 stomp attack. It was not pretty, but I got the job done, and proceeded to run around and dodge the metal Gigante to the best of my ability. I can't kill the armored Gigante with the knife, so I'm forced to wait for Lewis to attach the dynamite, blow it up, and drop him in the pit. It is my only option, and failing to do so would lead to me having to redo the fight. Fortunately, I was able to drop him in first try and move on to some epic thrill rides. Obviously, this is a part where I am required to shoot Lewis's special red 9, so nothing special here. Although, I will make a great suggestion to those of you who may have trouble killing the Dr. Salvador with the chainsaw. Shoot his cart instead of him. It breaks in less shots, and it's easier to hit from a distance. After that, I run through the Novis before the Krauser encounter and absolutely destroy him. So much for being a rookie. This ends the chapter, and we're on the final stretch of the castle. I backtrack to get a bunch of big fish before taking on the clock tower, which is a bit of a concern. I will have no choice but to fight the Ganados as they land on the elevator, which means I will most likely have to kill all of them if I don't manage to get rid of them very quickly. The knife is pretty good in this situation though, as I can get head stabs for melee prompts, which will give me the opportunity to kick multiple Ganados off at once. This is great, but I can't kill the crossbows, so I'm forced to take hits during these fights, and then run in circles when I'm not fighting. It's quite silly. The red zealot isn't much of an issue because the Plagas won't spawn in time before I kill them. Thank goodness for that. Once that nightmare is over, I prepare for Salazar. Now, this fight is interesting, and probably something many of you have been wondering about. I'm going to break it down for you because it's actually more complicated than it may seem. Salazar has quite a few attacks, and a few of them are favorable. The first attack he always does when you approach him is the one-hit kill attack, where he gobbles you up. That attack can be strafed, and you can go straight into stabbing. The other favorable attack is the vertical goop stream that he shoots. The horizontal one is bad, the charged up one is bad, and the worst one of all? Random blobs. Yes, you heard that correctly. You would think Salazar would be the biggest threat in the Salazar boss fight, but it's actually random blobs. These things not only do damage, but I can't shoot them, and if I'm stabbing Salazar and one of them pops, I'm stunned while I'm mashing left click. The reason why this is detrimental to the fight is because when you're stunned out of the stabbing stance and mashing left click, it automatically activates the QTE stab instead, which completely ruins the fight. The knife durability will not last the duration of the whole fight, and in order to preserve it, you must switch to the kitchen or boot knives for the QTE stab specifically. Yeah, that's right. This is our first time in the entire challenge where you will need multiple kitchen or boot knives to even progress in the game. Problem is, you have no idea when a blob will stun you while you're stabbing Salazar while he's down, so it's completely random whether or not you get blobbed and restart. I don't remember how many times I said the word blob during all of this, but it was probably more than I've said the word blob in my entire life prior to it. Apart from all of what I just explained, this fight is just a DPS race that requires extremely good menu and QTE timing to get the most damage out of Salazar's down states. Here is the entire successful attempt. Oh, I got blobbed. I got blobbed already. Oh my god, cheap ass motherfucker. Ooh, that was close. No blobs? No blobs. No blobs. No blobs. No blobs. How did that still hit me? Oh wait, was it a blob? It was probably a blob. Oh god, there's blobs everywhere. I'm ducking, I'm ducking. Oh god, I'm scared to fight him because there's just blobs everywhere. What the fuck? Why are you doing this attack right in front of me? Oh god. Oh god. He's blobbing. Christ. You're so cheap. So cheap with your blobs, dude. That was really good. Blob. Oh god, blob. Duh. Woo. Where? Where did he put them? Not near me, thank God. He's crying. He do be crying. Fuck yeah! Let's fucking go! Hell yeah! Oh, God, that took a lot of attempts. Holy shit. You fucking did it. Oh, God, man. And to think that if I hadn't have kept all of my kitchen knives and all of my boot knives, this wouldn't be possible. That's crazy. As you can tell, I was pretty happy to have finally beaten him, and looking back on it, this was probably one of the most impressive parts of this entire challenge. It also proved that you need kitchen or boot knives to complete as well, so good for research. With Salazar dead, all I have to do is dodge the knights and take a little boat ride with Ada. We arrive at the island after learning Ada still eats hot chips and lies after all these years, and head towards the first turret section. This room isn't hard to just run through, but I didn't want to risk losing too many healing items. Therefore, I did a little trick to make the turret lock onto Man-Bear Pig and swiftly run by him to open the door. After that, I made my way to the kitchen without fighting any of the Garadors. I made a save, and I prepared for the scariest thing in the entire game. These puzzles. Like, honestly, who made these? What even, like, why? Just, oh, what, you really thought I was gonna say regenerators? Okay, well, to be honest, they are kind of an issue, since they're pretty aggressive on professional and I can't really take out their legs. I'm forced to run around them and dodge as much as possible, and then make a safety save after the freezer room. Thankfully, the only required fight in this entire chapter is the regenerator with the wrench inside of him. I get the LE5 here to use the scope so I know which one it is. I don't actually shoot the gun itself, don't worry. From there, I simply stab the regenerator in hopes that I actually hit the Plagas parts of its body. It's easier than you think, but after using the keycard, a bunch of Ganados show up. These dudes kinda suck. But if you can run around and dodge them, and any of the regenerators that they may let loose, it's not too bad. If you're lucky like me, this guy will forget to throw his dynamite and just blow up in front of you. This was actually pretty dang funny. It's almost like he was sending a message or something. I don't know. Anyways, chapter is done and Ashley is back. We're headed towards a few sections where I will need to take care of groups of enemies, all while protecting Ashley. It's a bit chaotic at times, and your knife will break pretty fast doing these fights. In fact, I had to repair my knife after just the first group of Ganados. From there I took on the Iron Maiden, which again is not as bad as it may seem. The knife is quite effective against them, just aim for that head. That leads me to a section that I said was impossible to do with the knife earlier. But there is a way. My chat really pulled through here, and multiple people told me that it's possible to get back over the bridge before they pick Ashley up, as long as you have really good movement. Seeing as I'm a speedrun veteran, I was kind of surprised to not know this before, but I was extremely intrigued and tried it out myself. And alas, it is doable without shooting. Yet another thing I learned while doing this challenge. I've already learned so much about this game with this one challenge, and I'm about to learn even more. Except this time, what I'm about to learn is not good. It's not good at all. In fact, it was heartbreaking. I learned through hours and hours of attempts that the Wrecking Ball room is impossible. You see, from a casual perspective, 99.9% of players would do this section and believe that the wall has health. Makes it even more believable when you see and hear about using heavy nades or a rocket launcher to break it early, right? It must have health. It doesn't. Instead, it's more of a set of triggers or requirements that leads to the wall being broken. What I'm trying to say here is that this is not time-based. It is entirely kill-based, with the exception of explosives used by the player. Most of the enemies in this entire sequence of events needs to die before Ashley can break down the wall without the help of Leon. Obviously, this is knife only, and I'm sure as hell not going to throw nades to break it down. I'm going to try and kill all the enemies. But while doing this, I ran into some serious issues. Issues that were most likely unavoidable, and had no proper solutions without the use of unlocks or accessories. That issue is still knife durability. It is impossible to actually kill everyone without your knives breaking entirely, and the dynamite and rocket guys are not reliable solutions to taking out the rest of the Ganados. After hours and hours of attempts, even my best ones left me with my knife almost broken, with many enemies left, including the rocket launcher guys standing on top of the crates. On top of all this, you don't have a choice but to slash at the Ganados who are trying to take Ashley. That crane health depletes very quickly, and she won't even use the Wrecking Ball if someone's on it. Trying to juggle all of this chaos at once with nothing but knives that will break before being able to complete the room makes this seemingly impossible. It's the only room in the game that is impossible. It hurts to say, but after hours of attempts and calculations, I believe it's the truth. And I hope that one day I'll be proven wrong, but for now, it's just not gonna happen. And you may be thinking, well, that's it then. It's over? No, it's not over. And you know why? Speedrunners. Yeah, that's right. Thanks to the speedrun community, specifically Matt for finding door clips, I can actually perform a crouch clip through the door that leads to the room directly after breaking the wall. There aren't even that many door clips in the game, so the fact that this one exists is a miracle for this challenge. I didn't have to even use a weapon for it either. Hope is not lost. The challenge is saved. and I will prevail. The next day, I booted up the game thinking that Krauser might not be possible either. But there's a special thing about Krauser in this game, and it's a direct nod to not only original Resident Evil 4, but also a nod to Darkside Chronicles, which is the game responsible for explaining how Leon and Krauser know each other prior. They trained with each other, and Krauser taught Leon all about the importance of knives. The reason why that's important is because Krauser is weak to knives, and the developers specifically have Krauser throw knives at you that you can deflect and pick up to use yourself. I mean, the game is basically asking you to use your knife. I was able to get Krauser to throw me boot knives in not only the first encounter, but also the second encounter, and this allowed me to use both of those on the 2 fights instead of my combat knife. And now I can use my combat knife with full durability for the final fight, and hope that he doesn't absolutely destroy me. To be honest, I was expecting this to be hours of attempts. But as I said, Krauser is weak to knives. Weaker than I thought. Shit. Oh, fuck. I couldn't even do anything.
Until the mission's finished, you'd have said the same once. You need to stop living in the past. My affection unbreakable.
Oh my god, I can't parry this man. He's unparryable.
This is the moment I've been waiting for.
Oh, ladder. What? That still hit me? No parry. I'm dead. Yeah, I am a dumbass. I can't fucking parry your shit. I ducked! I fucking pressed crouch! You're kidding me! Can you reach his face? Reach his face. Wait, what? Are you serious? No way. Oh shit, no way! Okay, yeah, Krauser's hella doable. Okay. Oh shit. Even though he put up a good fight and drained me of all my healing, I beat him first try. I honestly didn't even know how to react. I was pretty shocked, but hey, well, I mean, we take those. Chapter 15, I'm on my way. And I've got a shiny new knife to use as well. This is what some of us call 5-4, which is just a nod to the original. At the start, Mike shows up to help take care of a group of Garadors before he blows open a path for Leon to take. It's a bit silly and slightly risky to run around for Mike to kill them, so I opt for sitting at the top of the ladder and stabbing anyone who dares to climb it. Very effective. After that, I'm moving on to the section where Mike is the one who needs help. It's the second to last spot in the game where I am required to use something that isn't the knife to progress, which would be the turret to kill the anti-air gun. Considering how messy this place can get if I stop to fight enemies, I have no choice but to run through it all with as many slick dodges as I can possibly pull off, get in the turret, take out the AA gun, and run to the war room. Which, yeah, war room kinda sucks. Unless you're on a completely stacked New Game Plus file, this room will always just be pure chaos. Oh my god! No! 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 Please, God! What the fuck? Oh! Thank you. Oh, Jesus Christ. After that nightmare, it's time to go say goodbye to Mike. Rest in peace, Mike. If only you were in, like, a cool Iron Man suit or something, you know, rather than a helicopter in the Resident Evil universe. I think you would have been alright. Anyways, next part is easy. Just avoid waking up the regenerators, have some good movement, and get to the final section before finding Ashley. The final section is kind of one of those laser turret sections. It's actually pretty easy as long as you know how to dodge. It could turn really bad really quick, but in this case, I nailed it. Finally, we're at the end of the game. All we have to do is take down Big Bad Sadler. Now, before we get into that, I'd like to mention that I did fully upgrade Krauser's knife. And this thing is crazy. With the exclusive, it does 3.6 damage. Even with the lower attack speed, this knife is far more effective than the combat knife. But, I know what you're thinking. Even with the upgraded Krauser knife, I mean, how are you gonna beat Sadler? He's the final boss. There's no way it's not just gonna crush your spirits, Maxie. Well, you're not wrong. It's rough. Yeah, there's no way I can reach that. It's just not gonna happen. Oh, fuck you. Fuck. So many Novies, dude. I mean, I don't have any tips for you because I don't work out. Although, assuming if somebody works out or not, based on how they look, is also not right. Oh, that still hit me. Didn't look like it did, but it did. That thing is like blocking. Hold on. Let's try to go around here. Let's get this one. Because I haven't gotten that one yet. What is this Novistador doing, dude? Get off me. But I was right? Yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't make it like appropriate though. No, that's not your B, Bingus. How did he grab me? I just have a ridiculous metabolism, so... What won't last? My metabolism? Yeah, I know it'll eventually subside, but I'm 30 and Still, still got it, so we'll see when it runs out, I guess. What side are you going? This side? Okay, that's kind of unfortunate. I can't pop the other eyes, so I'm kind of one of those situations where I'm at the mercy of just knifing his legs until he fucking feels like, you know, dying. Yeah, I can't imagine eating that many calories a day, though. That shit's nuts. Just thinking about that makes me sick. Fuck. It's my last heal. Oh shit, I got him. Oh fuck, dude, what the hell? This was so anticlimactic. I absolutely annihilated Krauser, and then I absolutely annihilated Sadler. That's crazy. The final boss of the game is easier to do on Pro Knife only, with no unlocks and no accessories, than the fucking water hall, the cabin, the wrecking ball room, and the double Garador room. And Salazar. Those are all harder than Krauser and Sadler. That's fucking ridiculous. This game is so funny. This game is so funny, dude. You're super wrong. I beat this dude second try. You literally just stab his legs until he dies. I mean, it's hilarious that the hardest parts of this run somehow aren't Krauser and Sadler. I was fully expecting to be stuck here for hours or give up entirely, yet here I was, shooting Sadler with Ada's special rocket on like my third attempt or something like that. Hell yeah. Now, I mean, with that said, I will admit that this challenge was not easy, and I'm still bummed that the Wrecking Ball room is seemingly impossible, but luckily the challenge is still completable, and I'm very proud of myself for not only conquering what may be one of the hardest challenges this game has to offer, but also being the first person in the world to do it. Considering my vast knowledge and history with the series, it warms my heart to see how RE4 Remake has turned out. I can't thank everyone enough for the amount of love and support on Twitch the past month. I know it may come as a surprise that I haven't really uploaded here in a while, especially with the craze of RE4 Remake, but I've basically been a streaming machine, doing almost exclusively 10 to 12 hour streams 6 days a week. If you don't already, feel free to tune in at twitch.tv/maxilobes. I stream every single day except for Friday in the Pacific time zone at around 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific. It's usually when I start. Yeah, I'm a bit of a nocturnal streamer. But yeah, I would love to have you there if you haven't tuned in already, or if you haven't even followed me from YouTube to Twitch. As always, thank you so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe here if you haven't already. Check out some of the speedrun documentaries that I've uploaded in the past. They're pretty cool. I'll put up a few on the screen here. Much love, and again, thank you so much.
Let's go home.
Hell yeah. We're gonna jet ski as long as we have fuel. Damn. Knife only pro in 19 hours. Holy shit.